Hi everyone. Class asked me to make a video for the final project for the Excel piece, so here we go. In Excel, go ahead and create a blank workbook. Inside after you create the workbook, what I recommend usually is for everyone to copy all the steps into a Word document, and you'll understand the value in a bit. After you do that, though, I recommend there's 14 steps in this particular part of the assignment. I recommend starting with step 14. That's just because I always like to know where I'm saving my assignment because of all the hard work that I'm doing. I normally have a folder called School, as I said. So I'll save it there. And again, the point of step 14 is to name the file EPETS specifically. So that's what we're going to do here. Now, as we complete each step, as I said in class, I recommend highlighting them or marking them in some way so you can track what you've done. Step 14 is completed. Step 1 is to name the first worksheet sales. So right click, go to the first worksheet, go to the tab, right click on it, go to rename and name it sales. Done. Assign the blue color to the tab sales is step number 2. So go back to your worksheet, right click on the tab, go to tab color, choose whatever color blue you like. Once done, you are completed with step number 2. Step number 3 is at the top of the worksheet. Add EPETS store grand opening. So one of the benefits of doing this in a Word document is you can easily copy it or any of the information and paste it into the Excel document or into the Excel cell. Now, as we talked about, it's going to be a little bit larger than the cell, or the cell won't actually expand automatically. To do so, you will hover your mouse between the two columns, and then if you double left click, it will automatically expand. And you are done with step number 3. Step number 4, insert an appropriate image next to the title. Here I go ahead and left click in the cell next to the text we just put in there. Go to the insert menu option. Under illustrations, you will have a sub menu option called pictures. Under there, you will have several options. One of the ones I use the most and recommend is online pictures. It will basically bring up a Bing search. You can search for EPETS or whatever you want to put in for a photo. Oh, there's some cute ones. I'm going to choose this puppy here. As we talked about in class, typically we'll make it too large. If you go in the upper left corner and hold down your left mouse button, you can grab one of the corners and shrink it and just easily kind of move it around. That's what we talked about. Excel is kind of a dry document, so putting pictures of puppies will make it funner, but the goal here is to communicate information. So make it appropriate, right? We don't want to make it the most dominant part of the document, but we do want to make it fun. So there you go. I think that's good. We're going to use the rest of the information for, and this is telling me that it's a license, I think. Let's see. Oh, it's license. Okay. So it's license information. Good. Okay. Let's see. We are done with this step. Now, step 5 is to create a table with the following column headers, and there's 6. As we talked about in class, I recommend doing 7, and you'll know why in a bit. So go ahead and grab a range of 7 columns, 4, 5, 7, and just a handful down, rows. I would go probably 5 or 6. And then under the home option, you'll see there's a menu option called Format as Table. Under there, there's a whole bunch of different, themes that you can use. I use this one because I'm old and blind. It's going to confirm the cell range that you want to make a table, and once you hit OK, it will make it a table. Then you have to go ahead and title the columns accordingly. So item name. Regular retail price. Discount percentage. Promotional price. Quantity sold. And total sales. Okay, we'll just leave column 7 blank for now. We'll take all 7 of these columns here and we'll make sure that we expand them to the appropriate width by double clicking, as we talked about before. It will automatically do all the work for you. That's what's a great thing about computers. Okay, so we're done with step 5 basically. Add 5 items to this list. Use the ones you listed in the Word document. And again, in the Word document, you're going ahead and creating a flyer for the grand opening, so you can use those items. We're not really demonstrating it here, so I'm just going to go ahead and create them. We talked about a few. Fish, I think. I think Jimmy said lizard. The hamster. The dog. The cat. Okay, good. Now we have to go ahead and create basically the information inside the table. So the regular retail price, I think we indicated for small animals, we're going to be 100. Right. Bigger animals, I think we said 500. Take a look. Discount price is going to be 50%. Promotional price is going to be 50% of what we're talking about. So again, what I do also is I go ahead and format that information. So if you highlight it, right click on it and go to the bottom of the menu options, you can format the cell to be in the format you're trying to work the information in. So for this column, we're talking about price or currency, for example. So currency, if you select currency and then hit OK, it will turn them into pretty much dollar amounts. Discount price, oops, I remembered what you need to do first. Sorry. Do that over. What you need to do first, if I remember right, when you format this column, it's better to do that first before you put in the discount. And I'll show you why. So when you go to the format cell, go to percentage. Anything that you type in is automatically going to be in a percentage format. Now, if you do it the other way around by typing in 50 and then highlighting everything and then formatting it to a percentage, then it messes up the numbers. It's really odd. Promotional price is going to be $50 for this. Now the assignment says use appropriate formula, and I think it's for this I'm okay with not doing that, because generally speaking you're going to have other opportunities inside this assignment to do formulas, and it's a pretty easy thing to just kind of calculate in your head. So what I'm going to do here is, again, format the cell to be currency, but we'll definitely do a formula as it indicates for your total sales for each item. So not a big deal. Quantity sold. We have to make up some information here. Let's say 3 lizards sold 8 hamsters because they're cute, right? 2 dogs, they're expensive. 3 cats, they're cute. Total sales. Okay, now here what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and multiply your promotional price by your quantity sold, basically, for that day. And how you do that in Excel is you can go ahead and just multiply the 2 basically cells together. The easiest way to do that is by hitting the equal sign and then going D, for example, 8, and see how it highlights it to confirm the data that you're using for the formula. And what you do is you hit the multiplication, the times, and then you use or identify the other cell that you're going to multiply this value against, which is going to be basically E8. So if you hit E8, it pretty much highlights both of the cells that it's going to use for the formula. If you hit enter, it's not only going to calculate it, but it's going to do it for the entire rest of the table. This information on the bottom is just kind of extra. It expected it, so it tried to execute the formula, but we don't need this for now. So we'll get rid of it. Okay. There we go. Not only did we add the 5 items, but we did the calculations accordingly to the homework assignment. Provide a little flexibility on step 5 for everybody. So step 7 is the total row. Okay, you got to add a total row to this table. So if you go here at the bottom, you can add it all the way here on the left by typing it in. Sometimes what I do is I go ahead and bold it. It just makes it look nice. If I remember correctly, the first thing we're going to do is calculate the total items of quantity sold. Right. So here we go. Quantity sold. Total. So if you highlight the cell, now we're going to start kind of working with the pre-built formulas. We used kind of a manual formula that we typed in for this one. Now, for this one, I want you to use kind of a pre-built one. If you go to formulas, there's one called AutoSum. Boom. It does everything for you. It actually takes a lot of the information that's within that column and just totals it or adds it together, is what I'm trying to say. So there we go. Calculate the total, grand total of sales. So we're going to do the same thing over here. Left click in that cell. Go to your pre-built functions that make Excel so easy. And there you go. Calculates the total sales for that day. Now, the last one here. Calculate the average sales price. Now that's what we're going to use the last column for. Average sales price. Some people just put a little label over here. I honestly don't care. Whatever you want to do. As long as you get the average sales price. And what that is basically your total sales for the day. So F13, right, divided by the total quantity sold for that day. That's what you're going to get. Sorry. E13. That's what you're going to get for your total or your average sales price for that day. Okay? I'm not doing it for this. Get rid of that information. Don't need it. Don't need that information. This is what I'm looking for. And we're going to use it for the following steps in a minute so you'll understand why. Now, I kind of use manual formulas in here and here, and sometimes I use pre-built ones. And the reason is because this is a grand opening. The owner didn't ask for a sales document that was going to be dynamic, that was going to be continually used. So sometimes what you'll do is a combination of manual and pre-built to get the job done. That's the goal at the end of the day. This is a one-time use. So that's why we provide this extra little bit of flexibility. Now we've completed step 7. Apply conditional formatting to indicate with a unique cell shading and font color the sales price above average. Okay. So conditional formatting. Okay. We're going to highlight what we want within the conditional formatting. If you go under the home option in Excel, there's a pre-built function called conditional formatting. Underneath it, there's some also kind of different, what I would say, formulas or ways you can use conditional formatting. For this line item, I recommend using greater than because it's so easy to use. Because you can just go ahead and indicate it's going to be 97.62. Above that's going to be light red and dark red text. Simple dimple. And that's the point here. Okay. We are done with this step. Step 9. In a cell below the table, enter a count if formula to calculate the number of items which promotional price was higher than the average price. So that's why when we kind of built this table initially, we built it with the idea that we didn't want to be the entire spreadsheet. That's why we highlighted a range or a specific range. And the reason why is because of this step here, right? We got to use a count if formula underneath the table, below the table. Which promotional price was higher than the average price, right? This is where, because I have some table, here we can shrink the table. And it's easy to do actually. Promotional price, we're going to go to formulas, and the count if formula is not going to be kind of at one of the default menu items because it's not the most commonly used. But if you go to insert function here, you should be able to look for it or search for it here or find it under here. And what we're looking for again, what is the range that we're going to be comparing? And it's going to be anything greater than 97.62. Hit enter. There you go. I have 2 items that is average, that's higher than the average sales price. Okay. Create a style 7 pie chart to show the total sales of the item. And then move the chart to a new spreadsheet. Aim at charts. Okay. So here's the total sales. That's what we're looking at. Under insert, you have a bunch of different charts. If you go ahead and select the default chart, you're going to get a whole bunch of options. And the options is the styles that it's looking for. If you count to 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you will find the style 7 chart that it's referring to. Go ahead and right click and copy it. And then what you can do down here under the plus sign, if you left click on it, you can create a new tab. And then if you right click again, you should be able to paste it onto the spreadsheet. Now let's go back to sales and get rid of it because it's on its own spreadsheet. And it's said to name it charts. So if you right click on the tab and go to rename, you can rename it charts. Done. Assign red color to the chart sheet tab. Again, right click on the tab, go to tab color, choose any red that you want. I'm fine with the default. Okay. Headers and footers. This can get a little crazy. People get a little confused because Excel hides this information sometimes. But if under your insert menu option, if you go to the text section and hit the drop down menu, sometimes you'll find the headers and footers here. It's the most common spot. If you click on it, you will get access to all three of them. I think it's said on the right header, put your name. Confirm my logic. Yeah. Oh, look at that. I got it right. And then on your footer, left footer, add current date. No, current time to left footer and current date to right footer. Okay. Date left, time right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think it's date left, right? Time left. Date right. Okay. So, under headers and footers, there's some pre-built functions that you can use. If you just hit the pre-built ones, it will actually put in the time and the date for you. So, time in the left footer, and if you left click on the right one, you can put in date. It is really easy with the pre-built functions. And that actually completes the assignment. Thank you everyone for joining my video. Have a good day.